We're actually going live.
Yeah, but like, let me know when we're good on the stream.
We're live.
Are we good on the stream?
Mm-hmm.
We good on the stream?
All good? Okay.
Good luck, everybody.
Thanks.
Have fun.
Bye, Dad. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the Most High Show, made by and for people in recovery, a show about recovery, spirituality, and being human. Our mission is to provide impactful, community-driven media that informs, empowers, and inspires positive change. Real people, real stories, real life. This is the Most High Show.
Yay!
Well, I'm your host, Sarah, and joining me in the studio tonight is Josie.
Woo!
And tonight we have a very special guest, Nancy Houston, an educator, founder, and community leader who spent over 40 years shaping young minds and transforming lives through education and recovery programs. Thank you for joining us tonight, Nancy.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling about your first podcast?
Excited.
Appearance? Yeah?
Excited. Yeah. Yeah. Something different.
All right. Well, I'm really excited to get into your story and some of your I mean, you have a lot of experience leading into tonight's episode.
I'm an old person, y'all remember.
I mean, that's not what I said. But, so you're an Atlanta native, born and
Correct.
raised right here. What was it like just growing up briefly?
Well, I grew up at the North Lake area, and we didn't even lock the doors. I mean, it was the time where, we're out riding our bikes. We were out from the morning to the night. When the sun went down, that's when we came home. We were all out. And I used to walk to North Lake. It was just like nothing like it is now.
I'm like, I can't imagine
safety
unlocked in North Lake.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the roads were just the 2-lane roads. You didn't have 6,000 roads, lanes to cross like it used to be. And then now North Lake is hardly anything anymore. Mm-hmm. Going to high school, I went to Henderson Mill Elementary and Henderson High School, and I got my first job at 15 at Riches at Lenox Square. Used to be Riches, and it turned into Macy's. And I was in wrapping paper, wrapping presents, and then I did so good they moved me up to China where I could break stuff and towels. But I loved it up there because I loved talking to all different people, and they tried to get me to go management that way, but I was determined I was going to be a dentist, which I got accepted to Emory, went over there and partied hardy with Georgia Tech guys and did terrible. I can tell you, that first semester was one I just forgot. So I think I was too drunk to tell you about it. Yeah. So then I went. My dad was the one that encouraged me. He said, "Why don't you go into teaching? Because you used to put all your little stuffed animals on the bed and beat the tar out of them with a yardstick, That's an old-timey saying. And then you'd have your little chalkboard, and you were teaching them how to read and do math and all that kind of stuff. So he said, "Why don't you do that?" But I was always, sciences were my thing still, and I wanted to go into research. So I still did that and got my degrees in biology, chemistry, and added the education.
Yeah, I saw in your and before the show you're talking about your education. So we've got people skills at Macy's, but now we're talking about want to be a dentist, but can't remember that semester.
Nope.
Redirect. Hold on. Okay, so science, but teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like when it comes to like STEM, right, the science, technology, engineering, math,
right,
people skills kind of don't go hand in hand,
right,
with those stereotypically, not
right,
100% of the time,
right.
So where was the like kind of that connection for you, whereas like you want to research but you also wanted to teach,
right?
What was that navigation?
Well, the science is, you go in, of course, and a lot of people that are autistic, Asperger's, do great at that kind of research because you're in there and they're intense, hands-on, but then at the same time you're trying to teach people how to communicate. So you've got to add on that, okay, what did you just do? Write it down. or let's put it on the computer, which a lot of them it's easier to write on the computer and do that. So it all just goes back down to scientific method. State your problem and go from there, that, to communicate what you need to do. And that's in life too. State your problem. What are you going to do about it? How to go about it, different ways. Set up an experiment. If that doesn't work, you go to plan 2.
Yeah.
And I do this in my life as well. I mean, that's just part of it.
Yeah. No, I love that you brought up like just the method and how, it can be applicable in regular life. Because I remember when I was in high school, I actually really liked math in high school. I was so bad at it until
Most people hate it. Yeah.
But it was because I found it comforting. I'm not going to beat the nerd allegations tonight. I found it comforting because it was like, that was the one thing that I was like, it's either correct or it's wrong.
Right.
Like there is no gray area. There is no up to interpretation. Either it's right or it's wrong.
Right.
And if it's wrong, then I can go back and figure out where it went wrong, and I can fix it and get it right.
Yeah.
And everything else was just like, there's emotions involved. It's complicated. It's gray. Like it just, math was just black and white. Now science, I see chemistry, hated chemistry. So I've got questions for you, ma'am.
Well, in fact, what you just said, that brought me to recently, this week, in fact, one of my dual enrollment students, he's 11th grade, autistic, smart as a whip, but he doesn't do work, as far as doing a math problem. He sounds it out. He figures it out in his head and talks it out, talks the thing out. And this was polynomials and all that. And his teacher at Gwinnett Tech, she was taking off 5 points because he wasn't putting his work in. But like I told his mother, I said, no, y'all need to have a conference, because the end result is you want the answer. Yes, there are 20 ways to skin a cat, but, and now the school system wants you to have the 3 ways to solve the polynomials so that they can get you a standardized test and trick you into knowing what all those ways are to get to the answer. And, the whole thing is you want to get to the answer first. And he's going about it his way. He's autistic. So I said, we may have to bring in the special ed, IEP for him. But that doesn't mean, because he can do the work. He got all the answers correct, but you take off 5 points for every problem, and he's getting 59s and 60s when he would have made 80 or 90 on his test. So that's something that's going on now that you were speaking about for the math. Is it the answer, or is it the method you got to the answer?
Yeah. And what was it like, like going back in time, when you were studying, the different sciences and all the math and stuff?
I loved it.
And so was it the same thing where it was like, if you got the right answer, so be it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so did that help kind of ignite the passion for you, keep it going?
Right. Yeah, it did. And I just love the sciences anyway. I just all love them, except I don't like reptiles. Sorry. That was the only part. But I had to dissect. It was hard to dissect a cat, I remember, in grad school.
These poor cats. So we're skinning cats, we're dissecting.
Sharks are great. If you ever get to dissect a shark, their liver and all is so soft and all. And I tried. The kids, I go in there and show them all this stuff that they can do, and that's when they get real excited, because I like a lot of hands-on when I'm teaching and doing. So that's what you want in your classroom. And a lot of kids learn that way. Some are going to learn auditorily. Some have to write it down. Some have to see it. Like I have to write it down, or else I'm going to forget, even now. If I don't have 50 lists going, Right. And it's just so much our lives are going 24/7. And so people have to write it down, whether it's in their phone, in their wherever planner. I have both, phone and planner, that I keep in place.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Multiple notebooks, phone, calendar.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, but I have to make the comment with dissecting a shark because I did get to do that.
Awesome.
I had to virtually dissect a frog in high school. It
Okay.
wasn't the same, but
Yeah.
I did actually get to dissect a shark when I was 10.
Yeah.
In 5th grade.
Cool.
And I accidentally smashed its brain.
Oh, wow.
May have a soft liver, but I tell you what, that skull.
Yep. I love it. And they don't have much of a brain anyway.
No,
It's
yeah,
not,
it
it's
is.
not
That one sure did it when I was done with it.
Yep.
so.
Oh, yeah.
Josie, did you have any dissection stories from school or fond memories?
She's going, heck no, get off
Yeah.
that
Science.
subject.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm in another world.
Like between soft livers, smashed brains.
No, we did the frog when I was in middle school, and in high school, I think it was a rabbit.
Yeah.
But when I was in college at Portland State, the science department had collaborated with the OMSI, the Oregon Museum of Science, and we had a dissected human. So the semester started, all the skin was removed, and as we moved along the semester,
Wow.
we got down to bones, and the
Oh,
brain
wow.
was separated and it was labeled.
That
so I've
is
seen
cool.
I've seen a
Cadaver.
yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Wow.
that's awesome.
And it was all labeled, and we would wear
Yeah.
like body suits and
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Oh, that's
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
Ah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, now you're smiling. At first you're like, it was like, a
Wow,
war
she did
story.
something none of us did. Oh.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't want to be a show off
Oh.
with your sharks. But
Yeah, no,
saw
I love it. I love
human.
it.
And there was a man and a woman.
Yeah.
So,
Two humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
wow.
had donated their bodies to science.
I love that.
Yeah.
So
But yet, I don't want to go into a morgue to see somebody.
right. Yeah.
No.
Oh my goodness. But you did bring up a good point about the different types of learners. So of
Right.
course with dissection and stuff,
Yeah.
it's going to be very hands-on. Was that kinesthetic?
Yeah.
Is that,
Mm-hmm.
then you have the auditory learners,
Mhm.
visual learners,
Mhm.
and then aren't those weirdos who can like read something and then understand it?
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't relate to that.
Yeah. I can't either.
Yeah, I'm very
But
much.
there
I'm
are
very
very
much.
much-
Please
there's
show
some-
me, and then I got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so. Teaching in public schools, was that something you got to do? Like use the different
Yeah, well-
styles to teach your kids, or
Public school is when back years ago it was great. You could actually teach. I started my career in Duluth Middle School in 1979. So, and it was Duluth Middle was on the square. And you could actually, I had like 25 students, and you could actually teach. Kids were, Duluth at that time was going through where Rockwell and technology and all was coming into the Atlanta area. Gwinnett Place was just getting built. So we're having old farm families mixed with business. So we had a clash of, don't want to say black-white, but it was essentially black-white, because technology was coming in, and then you had some old farm families. So there was the clash there, but they seemed to all get together, especially because I pulled a lot of hands-on in, and they loved working on that kind of stuff. But as it's gone forward, now the last time I left public school, went out into industry for a few years, because I wanted to do research, and so I could bring that back into the classroom. Then when I went back to public school, totally different. You had to cover your butt. I'm a science math teacher, and I'm having to teach reading. I don't know how to teach reading.
here's the numbers.
I know. I mean, I don't know the sounds, the AA, a cup, whatever you're trying to make the sounds. I don't know that. I was a middle and in high school. That's an elementary thing, but they wanted everybody to teach reading and all this other stuff. I said, So I finally got so fed up one day, I just said, I've had it. Well, I said, God, tell me what to do. And it was start a school. Because not everybody fits in that box, as we all know, even though the public school thinks everybody does, and they don't understand why this person over here is not obtaining and getting the content while this one over here is and is prospering. Yeah, they can. These back here are get lost. And the ones that get lost in the shuffle are the ones that go towards the drugs. They lose their self-esteem. They forget, they're not getting any what am I trying to say? Parent support. You know, parents are just yelling and screaming at them, aren't you getting your C and B and all that kind of stuff? I mean, I know I did it in my own kids. What the heck, you know? And, you know, what's going on? And then I figured it out. And God just laid it on me with my own child having Asperger's, being autistic. That opened my eyes, really, to, okay, this is what you need to do.
All right, so let's talk about that school. Like, is it a private school?
It's a private school. I'm accredited by the Georgia Accrediting Commission. I tried to get like the SACS accreditation, but I can't afford $25,000 a year like the public schools can. And that's where they would take all your credits, everything, blah, blah, blah. And they think they're better than sliced bread, or Gwinnett County does. But, so.
I love the sass.
But, you know, and I've just left it in God's hands. I started with 2 clients at $150 a month. You know, I left insurance, left everything to start this school because I knew God would send the people. I just had that faith, and he did. And it was funny. The other day I was on my computer doing something, and I looked up, and I have serviced over 8,000 diplomas in the 20 years I've been in business.
That's incredible.
So I have serviced a lot of kids through, and a lot of them have been a last minute, as we talked earlier. You know, some of them were getting in trouble last minute. I mean, they were thrown out of public school. Where did they go? I mean, some of these Christian schools and private schools are $10,000, $15,000 a year. Where could you go to not have to pay that? You know, and I'm reasonable. I'm less than $1,000 a month, you know, and reasonable for parents, and also my heart. Sometimes the Lord lays it on my heart, and I'll give it to them for free or $200. It's just, if I get that intuition that he's putting it on my heart, then I know they need me, I'll do it. And, you know, they've been I've gone to weddings, I've gone to baby showers, I've gone to everything. I mean, and they call me and say, Miss Nancy, how are you doing? I'm doing so-and-so now, or I'm going back to school to get my graduate degree or whatever. And it's so nice because I want for them what their parents want, you know, and they become like family to me. So that's why.
That's incredible. And so, like, your school, is it kind of like a last house on the block type situation?
Kind of like that. And then I've got some that are real talented. I get a lot from the homeschool community. They know me very well because the state of Georgia changed their requirements several years ago. And if you don't have an accredited transcript, you cannot get the Hope Scholarship or Zell Miller. So a lot of the homeschool community comes to me to get accredited so that they can have that chance to have it right off the bat instead of waiting a year, you know, making sure that they can pass. And, you know, because homeschool students, most of them, when they bring me a transcript or the classes they've been doing, they've done 37 credits. State of Georgia, of course, only requires 23 for you to graduate. So I know they're doing extensive work, and I know most of the people they're taking classes from, whether they're taken from me or whoever.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that you're able to help the homeschool community. Because, like, I was homeschooled for a few years. I love it. And the classes I had were a joke. They were really bad. But I was, fortunately, like, I was still taking, like, the state tests during that time. And so there was one class I told the state, I was like, yeah, I took that class. And they're like, okay, take this test and prove it. I'm like, oh, no. They're going to find out I didn't actually take that class. But I still passed the test. So I'm like, you know what? It was a science class. And I'm like, I didn't want to take it anyway.
It's just stuff like SAT and ACT. They don't tell you what you can do. It's all the intent of the student and their work ethic. If they go in and they do their homework, they hand it in, or they do their test, hand it in, try, that shows what they can do. That ACT and SAT is just a big money maker for College Board. And it doesn't show. I've seen kids that have done horrible on SAT and have appealed to, like, Georgia Gwinnett College or Gwinnett Tech or wherever they wanted to go, and they let them in and they prospered just because some people just can't take tests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I was like that.
me too. I don't even know how I got into Emory, but obviously I did.
Well, I have 2 boys, and my oldest son, he's great at taking tests, and he's a breeze of a student.
Right.
He does his homework. He gets really good grades.
Mm-hmm.
Breeze. His little brother is completely different as far as the type of learner he is and how he's been doing, and he's in IEP. And what I like about the process, it was long. I will say it was long to do the evaluation and everything, but he's with other kids that are similar to him. It's not just like one category. So the school he goes to, he's in a cross-categorical class, and he's came such a long way.
Yeah.
In like his speech, they do speech at his school.
If they provide
the smaller
that.
classrooms.
Small
He has 2 teachers,
That's right.
and it's been such a blessing. So I like hearing that you are able to provide to those, because again, everyone learns the same, but you know, a lot of parents, they're like, they don't want to admit that their child needs extra services, or that they aren't the same, you know, because like I said, I have 2 kids, so at first I'm like, why is my younger one, is there something wrong that I'm doing? Because I had such a different experience with my older son. But it's like, no, they're just 2 different children that have separate needs. And so like,
or when are they going to grow out of it? I've heard that so many times.
That was going to be
when
my question. Do you run into like a lot of that?
Yeah. Parents are just, I mean, you have to educate yourself, and you have to research. And as a parent, you know, you have to advocate for your child.
Yeah.
You have to go in, because the school system will only do the basic of the testing, and you really need to go outside and make sure you get the whole gambit, the educational end, the occupational end, the speech end, so you know what's really going on with that child, so you can treat them properly. Because even my own little grandson is suffering, because he's in a big classroom this year, and it's 13 kids, but he was in a little class of 3 or 4 before. So he's not getting the attention. His attention span's not there, the focus. And, you know, we're working on trying to get him more testing so that we can figure out what medication, if we need to change a medication or whatever. So I'm not afraid to tell parents that, but they don't like to hear it.
Yeah.
They don't like to hear it.
I talked to my youngest son's teacher today. She called me, and she was like, I enjoy speaking with you, because she goes, you know your son, and you don't argue with me.
Right.
Saying, there's no way that my son didn't do, you know, my son, not my kid, how blah, 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 blah. And she goes, we can have a productive conversation and realize, like, these are the behaviors that are just normal for a 5-year-old, and then this is like what we need to work on, and, you know, and we can problem solve together. But yeah, it is hard, because especially when parents are in denial.
Oh yeah. You got to get over that little hurdle first.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, is there anything from the 40 years in education? It sounds like that you've shared some rewarding stories with us already, but is there anything that like really stands out of like either like a highlight or just a super rewarding moment as an educator?
I had one this past year. I started teaching this young man, Bryson, in middle school. I've had him for 3 years, and he was just real talented, and I told the mom, she started him in like 8th grade with me, 7th, 8th. And I said, he's wasting time. I said, if you don't mind paying, let's do dual enrollment. So he started dual enrollment. She drove him there to Gwinnett Tech. She paid for classes, straight A's in calculus and blah, blah, blah. Just really talented young man. Plus he was taking his classes for me, because I was trying to fast track him, because until you get 12 credits, Hope Scholarship won't kick in for dual enrollment. So I was trying to get him fast tracked to get his 12 credits so she could stop paying. But she went ahead and paid anyway, and he wanted to be in computers, cybersecurity, that kind of stuff. So these past 3 years, we got him all the way through. So he graduated in May, with his AA degree from Gwinnett Tech in cybersecurity. He got his high school diploma, valedictorian, and he also got a full scholarship to Morehouse.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Go Bryson.
So and he wants to make prosthetics.
Oh, wow.
He wants to combine computer and he wants to combine. I want him to go to medical school, and he keeps saying, "I want to be computers, Miss Nancy." And I said, "I want you to be a doctor, Bryson." So maybe he will. He did some summer interning at Grady and loved the medical field. So I'm hoping that between the computer and hopefully he'll go to medical school too. And he wants to, like I said, make prosthetics for people. He said,
Yeah.
"I want to serve people. I want to help people."
Aw.
So
That's amazing.
to be so young, because he's only 15 years old and still not driving yet.
15.
Yeah, graduated from high school and college.
And interned at Grady.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you're making an impact in education, but you're also making an impact in a recovery community
Correct.
with
We
Choice
hope.
Recovery.
Yeah.
Well, I've only heard such positive things about Choice Recovery and
Thank
such
you.
lovely things about you specifically.
you.
So let's talk a little bit about Choice.
Okay.
What prompted the creation of that?
What prompted Choice Recovery was really the death of my daughter-in-law. We lost Laura in January. It's been coming up on 4 years now. And she got out of prison, and the next morning she was dead. And that just broke our families to pieces, because we have 3 little grandchildren we're dealing with. And that was really my main focus. I really wanted to do a women's, but couldn't find any responsible, good women that were interested in doing a program that would start one. So I started the men's program, and have David Calopi as our director. And we have a resource manager, resource coordinator with Jason. And then I have a house manager with Michael that checks on the house and does stuff like that. And we're full in one area and half full in an apartment already. And we've got some contracts going to get some others going. My heart is with men, because as my own son is a drug addict, he's 35, going to be 36, just got out of prison in February. That's the one his wife passed. And my stance on the judicial system is horrible. I hate the judicial system.
You're in the right place.
No drug addict should go to prison, ever. You may have to go to jail for a little bit, clean yourself up for a couple weeks, but not prison. I love the drug court thing in the Gwinnett community, drug court. I love that. I think Gwinnett also has a GRIP program that's very good. But I think they need, I don't care if you put them in a sober living home, and if that judge says you go back to sober living, I don't care if you go 50 times, you're going to learn something in that 50 times. And the something is, number one, you got to keep going to your meetings. You know, stay sober, go to your meetings, and form that community that you need of people that are going through it just like you are. And I still have every faith that everyone can get sober. I know there's some things that fall off, but I've seen people get sober and do well.
Yeah.
And I know they can. It's just got to do those things. And I still think there's a higher power, whether you believe in God, Buddha, you know, the spiritual realm, whatever. You got to have that higher power, because you cannot function on your own. That old story of no man is an island, one of my favorite ones. You cannot function on your own. You have to be with other people. You have to have that camaraderie. And you know, my three grandkids are, you know, the loves of my life, and they keep me going. I mean, that's why I do what I'm doing, education-wise and with the recovery. It's for them later on.
Yeah, and one of my buddies, he was on house arrest for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And stayed sober for 2 years
Wow.
on house arrest. And I went to his, wasn't a trial, but like his sentencing hearing or whatnot in front of the judge. And I was there as a character witness, and like a bunch of us, we had like submitted letters. And, you know, mind you, like he like just turned 21, you know, like a couple months prior to this. Like he's just a kid.
Yeah.
And so we're all like, a couple of us, like, we're good friends. His sponsor's there. We're all holding each other's hands, and we're like, can't breathe because we're like waiting because the prosecutor was wanting to go for prison. Wanting to go for, like, she was trying to go as hard and heavy as she could.
Oh, yeah.
What he did was, you know, pretty bad.
Yeah.
You know, nobody got hurt, thank God, physically. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yes, like there definitely needed to be some kind of punishment, but it's like, and you know, like, yeah, like prison is definitely a possibility here, like for a long time too.
Yeah.
And so we're all just like holding our breaths because we're like, if he goes to prison, like it's gonna undo so much of what he's been working towards in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
You know, because
definitely.
like trials are not quick. You don't get to trial quickly, and
No.
the trials don't, you know,
No.
go over quickly.
Right.
And the judge, I did forget his name, but I will never forget him. Because that judge looked at my friend and said, I would be doing you a disservice if I sent you to prison.
Wow.
And so he is on probation for like 10 years.
Yeah.
But the prosecutor
He
was...
can get through that.
Yeah.
Eventually.
The prosecutor was going for, like, she wanted like 5 or 10 years of prison plus an additional few years of probation and whatnot.
They need to
So,
go to prison.
You know, we were ready to like jump the gallery. We're like...
I mean, some of those prosecutors and judges need to go sit in a prison because it's not even like it was. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry, but Travis being 35, my son, and then when he was 19, there's a big difference. They're run down by the cartel, and it doesn't matter. You can get any drug you want, and the guards. They can't keep guards. So by the time they hire them, they're in the younger stages and may already be in these gangs or whatever. So they're going to look the other way. They're going to, you know, you can get anything under the sun.
Right.
I watched a documentary on HBO recently about the prison system in Alabama, and it is horrible.
Oh, yeah.
The inmates ended up finding ways to sneak in cell phones so that they could document what was going on inside. And because they're short staffed and so many people, there's such a high turnover rate of guards, they're basically hiring anyone.
Right.
And then no one is getting fired. They're just getting, you know, disciplinary action. But it was showing a lot of addicts going in, and they were overdosing in the prisons. And the inmates, and again, this is all real footage being shot by the inmates, and they are playing nurses and doctors, and they're using like the laundry bins to transport addicts from one spot to another, and like showing packs of paper. It was really eye-opening to watch that. My oldest son's father is in prison, and he committed a crime which he needed to have repercussions for his actions, but he's an addict, and right now he's going through his last year, but basically what he's going through is like he's still in prison, but in Oregon it's like a program where it's kind of like a rehab type drug court, you know, like they're doing groups and classes
like
and counseling so he's doing that in the last 11 months. But for the past 4 years he's just been serving time.
Been in population.
Yep.
And see all these books, they go and they take the books and soak them in the liquid, the spice, and then it dries. And so they take paperback books and take them apart and soak them in the liquid for spice, and then put them back together, and then have somebody get them, send them from wherever. And, you know, spice, I mean, I know Travis almost died from it this past time around. He was in the mental health for, you know, just, and people don't realize, and you don't, just like my daughter-in-law, her that last hit of cocaine had 5 times the amount of fentanyl. She didn't know that.
Yeah.
and of course, and was dead before she hit the floor. But now it's so scary because you don't know what's out there.
Yeah.
And I've never been a drug addict, but I do have a heart for them just because I've been surrounded by them. And I just don't understand it sometimes.
It's hard too because my son kept sending letters to his dad, and it was returned. You can't have colored pencil on it. You can't have crayon on it. You can't have marker on it.
Yeah.
And because they're like, you could have stuff. So we started typing letters, and then it got returned. The envelope's not see-through.
Oh, God.
You're opening it anyway. Well, the envelope has to be see-through because people are putting drugs in. And so I was like, we're not sending mail. And it's unfortunate, though, because it's like, because of all these things that people are doing, I was like, I'm sorry, but we're not able to send mail. Like, I don't know what else to do. We're getting every single thing returned. And so, he's like basically building a collection of drawings and things so that when his dad gets out, he can give him all this stuff.
Good.
Yeah, that's good. But, it's also really sad.
Yeah, it is. Because they can't keep in touch with them, and they're probably going to stop eventually taking the packages and stuff if they ever get smart. I mean, because they could stop all that if they wanted to. The government could stop it if they wanted to. But it was funny you said they're just hiring people that have no experience.
Oh yeah, and they're bullies. They're it's people that they grew up and they were being bullied. Now they're bullying the inmates and gosh, I wish I could remember the name of the documentary, but it's really good. It's on HBO. Yeah. It's really, really good.
That last one reminded me, what was it, the Russian prison experiment, where it's like the bullying concept, where, if you are, put down and then you're put in a position where you can put other people down, or you can do that. But anyway, that's a whole other topic there.
That's kind of like it's like
talk about that one for a long while.
Like the IRS. They put inexperienced people in there to do your taxes.
Oh boy.
I won't get you going on that one.
Yeah, when the camera's
I have too many opinions about things. Sorry.
But I mean, some of the opinions you have did give birth to choice recovery, and that's a huge deal. Yeah. And so, what are some of the mission or some core values of choice recovery?
We want them to come in, and we'd like them to stay a year. We want them to be sober. We're going to support them all that we can, because we're trying to provide food banks to have food. I mean, and I know it's hard getting a job. The economy, it depends, though, where you're going and what you're doing. I mean, if I have to flip a burger, I will, to keep my family going. But it just seems like things with the economy, the government shut down right now. Everybody's closing up and trying to keep their own self going. So they're not hiring people right now. So we're having a little problem with that. But we're trying to get employment agencies on. And I, as the school, like I tell the guys, if you want to go to school, I can convert GEDs to transcripts or vice versa. I can take your transcript. Let's get you over to a technical school because you can learn heat and air or whatever faster and get out there. We need heat and air. We need plumbers. We need people that actually work. There's too many bosses running around that are making the big salaries, and we need people that actually work. And that's and they can make a great living. I mean, look at the car repair people. Oh my goodness. And so that's what we're trying to do. And we try and get them to meetings. We have educational things for them to do, and David guides them on that weekly. He's a phone call away. If they need him, they call. And we have 2 other people on staff also helping.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I try and stay out of it, but I get centered into it sometimes.
And so it's a year-long program, essentially.
We prefer, a year-long, because we don't think that you can be sober for just 6 months. I mean, you can and continue on, but we feel like a year gives you a good year under your belt to keep going.
Yeah, well, if I'm not mistaken, studies show that the longer you are in a program, the more likely you are to be successful in long-term recovery.
Right.
I
That
went
makes
through
sense.
treatment, and that was drilled into our heads.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, the thing is, a lot of people would say, oh, they say that because they want our insurance money and they want my rent money and they don't really care about me. But I think that's when people that I went to treatment with would say stuff like that, it was just that they weren't ready and they weren't willing yet. But you do, there's more success the longer you stay
In a
program, and then really it's only whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year. That's a really short period of time when you look at the grand scheme of things in your life.
Right.
So small.
You're right.
Like for me, it was 4 months of my life. But fast forward, here I am today, and it's like way more time has passed, and the amount of time I put into, that program I did. Yeah. Have you had anybody finish? Like,
No, because we haven't been open. We've only been open since April of
Okay.
this year. Yeah.
okay,
That was still only this year. Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, we started the process of getting everything together last year and getting incorporated and getting our license and getting everything set up. And then what I wanted to accomplish, and I want success, which I think all of us do. You want to see people successful because I feel that's good. Like you brought up a good point of people not being ready. That's the one thing when I said that I think judges and these prosecutors and all that need to go and spend time in prison or whatever. But a lot of people are not ready. They aren't. They're going to falter. You go to detox. But I still think anything is better than prison.
yeah,
Unless you kill somebody, sex traffic a child, or that kind of stuff, or molest a child, whatever. That's prison. Not drug addicts. I mean, because a drug addict, you're going, all right, let's say you go to the seedy side of town to pick up your drugs, but the alcoholic who is an alcoholic can go into the QT and get the beer or whatever, and the cheap wine or whatever, and until he goes and kills somebody, nobody notices until it affects his job. It will affect the job, or he kills somebody.
damn, you're right.
Then you're sitting side by side, and he's a drug addict as well. And I could say, because I have a chocoholic, I love chocolate, so we all have
Grown-ups, I want to get chocolate wasted.
Or donuts. I could eat a dozen donuts in a heartbeat, but I'd be as big as this table, But, you're right. People, a lot of times, they're just not ready. And I don't know how to get over that little glitch of that.
I think that's the hardest part about watching someone you care about struggle with addiction, is because, like, what do you do when they're not ready? Because there's nothing you can't want somebody's health for them.
Right.
And there was a woman that I knew who her son was in prison, just serving time, waiting to go to RSAT.
Yeah.
And every week she would ask me, she'd be like, do you know when he's going to go to RSAT? Who can I talk to? Who can I call? Just because I was in recovery. I was like, ma'am, I don't work. I work at Starbucks. I'm like, I have no idea. I'm like, I have no idea.
She's like,
what's going on at
tap
prison."
into your recovery. Tap in.
Literally, I was like, I'm like, I
That's
can
funny.
see
That
who I
is
know who might know what you should do. I think I
Yeah.
texted or talked to David about it multiple times. I was like, she keeps asking me. I don't know what to tell her. I feel so bad. But she would talk to me and she just wouldn't understand. She's like, but he reached bottom. But then he kept going, and then he reached bottom again, and he kept going. And I said, you don't get to decide for him what his bottom is.
Yeah.
I was like, obviously, he hasn't hit it yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how many times I hit bottom in everybody else's eyes,
Yeah.
but I just kept going because I had I had more in me.
I told my ex's mom that because when he was in minimum security at first, and he was living it up in there. He's like, I got to play my Nintendo Switch. I get to, hang out. I'm not working because, people are feeding his books and whatever.
Yeah, right.
And he got in trouble. He failed a drug test. and he got sent to medium security,
Mm-hmm.
and his mom was like, I thought he hit bottom by going to prison. I was like, clearly not.
Yeah,
She's like, what? I just don't get it. I'm like, you and I don't get it.
I know.
But, you know, and I'll speak for myself. I remember Sarah knew me when I was in active addiction. I, at one point, wanted her to want it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, though, I didn't know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't have the answer, Sway. And so I wanted her to give me the answers. I would be like, do I need detox? And she's like, I don't know.
No, literally every other
I'm like,
day.
I'm like, do I, like, I just don't know where to turn. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't know what resources were out there. And it was terrifying for me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know anybody. And so I wanted someone to
Tell
me what to do, to give me a roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think for me, my biggest thing is telling people, there are resources out there. I talk to a lot of people that they're, you know, I'm like, you know, meetings are free. I've met
Mhm.
people who are like, I thought you had to pay a fine or a fee to do AA.
Mhm.
Do you pay your sponsor? And I'm like, no.
No.
And
You
you know,
now.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start billing you.
do not
I
bill
love
me. Or, you know, I didn't know my insurance covered this or that.
Right.
And so there, you know, there's a big community, and I think a lot of, you know, especially for women,
Mhm.
that it's that fear. Because for me, it was like, I'm scared because all I know or hear about are men in recovery. But I know, yeah, for me, it's like, I want someone to kind of tell me what's out there. What are the answers?
Mhm.
Do you do a lot of like outreach? Do you find that it's a lot of that, or you know?
We're starting to, and I'm learning a lot about women as well, and trying, because that's still my goal, is to put a women's and name it Laura's house, because
Aw.
in honor of her, because I just think women struggle. There's so many for men, and it
Yeah.
doesn't seem like there's much for women, or very good ones for women. I haven't heard of anyone. I've got an old student that's in a women's rehab now. She's doing good. I forgot where she was at, but I haven't heard of many women's that have been
No.
good at all.
Both
And
places that
I'm-
I went to were co-ed.
And I know the one that Laura, couple that she did, I mean, they put her in an apartment with a bunch of other supposedly sober people, and they were getting riled up and drugged up. Imagine that.
Getting
You know, riled up, drugged up, no jobs, and just having a good
Party
time
house.
on just you know, on a weekend there, you know. So she was there 2 days and was still, you know, and we paid buku-doodles of money for it, and it was nothing, you know. And I don't want that. I never want that. I want people to come in and be successful.
And that's what's
You know?
so hard, is because when you're offering a solution for people, right? Like,
Right.
a sober living is a solution.
Right.
You're going to attract the people who are ready for a change.
Right.
But it's also still going to attract the people who just need somewhere to
Stay.
stay.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
checking off a
Yep.
box. Like, you're going to get both. And so it's hard to be like, you know, you want people to be successful,
Right.
but you still can't want it for them, but you can't turn people away. And like the
Yeah.
whole, you know, it's like,
Right.
there's so much that goes into a person's wellness, that goes
Mm-hmm.
into a person's recovery, and then, you know, the organization's wellness and the
Mm-hmm.
organization's success. And it's so, like, anyone who starts an organization like that, whether it is, you know, an inpatient facility or a sober living
Mm-hmm.
or an outpatient, anything that's just dealing with addicts, God bless you all. But it's just, you know, I admire it, because I am not built for that.
Yeah.
Because it's just looking at it, it's like there's so many personalities to deal with.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
so many addicts to deal with.
Yeah.
And then there's, you know, like, laws and regulations and politics to deal with, and it's so much, and it's just like, I just want people to stop dying.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and
And
it
it-
sounds so simple, and it's
No,
not.
It's not. And it all goes back to, I think everybody has a mental health issue. It all goes back to their mental health and not being addressed. I mean, if you go to prison, I'm sure, well, I've heard horror stories from my kids. So I just, you know, I know it's a frightening, terrible place, but my kid still hasn't hit the bottom. I mean, if he has to, he'll go back again, I guess, because he hasn't stopped doing the drugs. I think he's let up a lot, but I still think he's doing drugs. And, you know, it's still, I'm sure PTSD and all this other stuff. I mean, you know, mental health issues contribute to a lot in our life, and people in our society are just, oh, you're a drug addict, you need to go away, you know, or whatever, or just like, you know, just a lot of things, you know, that our society is, you know, they have that they're thinking about, just like our house, our sober living house. We have, the city doesn't want our house in the city because we're a sober living house.
Oh yeah, because that city has no
but
addicts.
Nobody in the house has done anything. No neighbors have complained. It's clean, neat, but yet the city ordinance, because somebody turned us in, that's a bad person, and you know, wants revenge, but that's okay. We'll get through it, and you know, just because I didn't file for a new ordinance on it because we didn't need to.
And you shared a lot with your family's experience with addiction, and thank you for opening up about that. Yeah. And we often have people on the show who are, you know, people in recovery. You know, we've been there, done that, and here's our story. But it's not very often that we get to have a mom. Yeah. What was it like as a mom?
As a mom, it was real horrific. I mean, I remember saying, I hate you. I mean, how many times can I say I hate you to you? And you know, you talk about, at the time, I did. I mean, when he's coming after me and his little brother with a baseball bat, I'm trying to get in the car and call the police at the same time. You know, I hate him. And it wasn't really that I hated him. I hated what he was doing. To walk in the room and he's shooting up. You talk about screaming and running out the door just as fast as I could and just screaming and tears running down my face. I mean, to see your child doing that is the worst experience I think I ever witnessed. And I saw more. You know, like I told you, I processed because our life continues on. I still had there's a 7-year difference between my children. So I had to continue on with the family and keep going. And you're still living your life and processing. But we were on lockdown. I mean, you come in from work, you come in from school, teaching school, you put your purse in the safe outside, a big gun safe that we had, to, you know, because you couldn't leave money out, couldn't leave jewelry out. Everything had to come out of that safe, you know, because it would be stolen, you know. I hated living life like that. And I know Laura and her parents went through the same thing. Daughter-in-law, you know, they had to put stuff in the safe. I don't know how much stuff was missing from our house. I mean, Travis one year stole all of Tanner, my younger one, a 7-year difference, all his toys for Christmas, like the Nintendo and stuff like that, sold it for, and then I didn't find out until the 23rd. And I'm scrambling to try and find Santa, you know, to try and get gifts for my son for Christmas, and no remorse, no nothing from him. You know, it was hard, and it can break a family apart. Yeah. Very easily people get divorced and all through that. It can break you, and luckily, you know, we had good support. We were on the same page about things. But at the same time, I've seen it break families apart in a heartbeat. Just sisters, brothers, the whole bit. And my 2 children do not speak to each other. They don't like each other. The little one, the younger, he ain't little, he's 29, but does not like the brother. Will not speak to him usually at all. And, you know, even though this drug addict has tried to make amends, but, you know, I just, you know, guide him to say whenever, you know, just keep trying, and maybe one day he will, you know, forgive you for what you did. But I had to forgive and put the boundaries up and just forget a lot of stuff. And I'm sure my husband, Nick, he did the same. We just had to keep going with our life. We had to make ends meet. You know, you had to make a living, and you had to keep going. So the main thing was I regret saying I hate you. That still comes up, but it wasn't that I hated him. It's that I hated what he did.
Yeah.
And that was the main thing. And I've asked for forgiveness for that, and but it still comes up and hurts that I said that to my own child. Yeah.
What would you say to a mom out there who's watching their kid go through addiction?
Oh, wow. That's a hard one. To depend on your friends a lot, talk about it, get in counseling yourself, and have that higher power. You got to have God or somebody behind you to get through it. But don't enable them. I know I enabled a couple of times, and Nick did too. Don't enable them at all. That's the worst thing you can do. And even now, I'm trying to put up boundaries because my friend Mike, he's always on my case to do, you got to do this, Nancy, you got to do that. Because my heart is large and big, and I still do try to help when I can, but sometimes it goes beyond what it should be. And, I'm still learning to put up the boundaries myself. It's hard.
I mean, if boundaries were easy, I don't think they would call them boundaries. But it definitely sounds like, there's like a huge emphasis in community in all aspects of your life. Community in education, community in recovery, community in your own recovery and wellness. So thank you so much for, coming on here tonight and just opening up about so many different things, but especially the dissections. That was highlight for me.
Literally opening up. Literally opening up.
Best part of school.
So we do have just a quick few.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, the lightning round. You've been looking forward to it all night.
Yeah, sure.
So just quick fire. Don't think about these for too long. Just a few seconds.
Okay.
Josie and I will take turn asking.
Okay.
But speaking of all the crazy, what's your go-to comfort food when life gets crazy?
Sweets.
Sweets. Which one?
Either chocolate or donuts or cake. Birthday cake I love.
So pastries. Just
Yes, anything. Hey, Lucy.
You can invite 3 people, living or gone, to dinner. Who's at your table?
Who's at my table? I would have my dad, my mom, and my grandmother.
That's beautiful.
What's one Southern saying you think everyone should know?
Oh, gosh. Haven't I said about 50?
Yes. It's been wonderful. I've loved it.
Skinning cats?
Yeah, skinning cats.
Oh, what did you say? Flip a tar? Filled with tar?
Beat the tar out of them.
Beat the tar out of
You
them.
hadn't heard that one
You
before?
hadn't
Nope.
heard that
Oh, right,
one?
you're
I think
from Oregon.
I think everyone should know that one.
Beat the tar out of them, yeah.
If Atlanta had a smell, what would it be?
Pot. Sorry.
Stink. Yeah. Pure stink. Oil, grease. Because we cook with all that lard. I mean, my grandmother, oh, God. I just remember the turnip greens and stuff just...
I don't even know what to say. That's disgusting.
Because you were out in the Northwest.
Yeah.
You don't know what cooking with...
that's the pot smell over there. in the
Yeah.
Pacific
You
Northwest.
didn't know what cooking with all that lard and all that oil and all that stuff in it, and that's
what
why
makes it taste so good.
that's why Southern people look like this
Yeah.
table.
Yeah. No, in Oregon we're using recycled leather to cook. I'm just kidding.
You're proud of that one. I saw the look on your face. You're like,
Love it.
And if listeners remember one thing from today's conversation, what do you hope it is?
I hope they remember that I am committed to helping people. That's my I guess that's my motto. I'm just very giving, and I hope that they would, in kind, give as well. That pass it down. Do it. I mean, the other day I bought somebody a coffee in line behind me, just because.
I love that.
Just because. Be kind. I mean, everybody's too dang mean nowadays. I mean, everybody's out for just themselves.
Yeah.
And I just think we should spread the kindness and goodness, because we are a kind and good nation and good people. There's just been so much, everybody's so self-centered around themselves instead of worrying about helping somebody else. Because you never know what somebody's going through, you know.
Very true.
Yeah.
And if somebody wanted to help out Choice Recovery and get involved, what do they need to do?
They just need to contact the phone number for David, and the email is there. You can contact us. They could even, I'm working on the 501(c) right now, but if they want to donate, I can always do a tax letter. And if they get in touch with us, or David can get them in touch with me or whatever, and we'll go from there. On my website for the school, Choice Educational Academy, my email's on there as well for Nancy G at ceaschool.com. They can get through to us there as well.
Perfect.
And anybody that needs education, I'm willing and ready to help. I think everybody should have a high school diploma.
Love it. Love it. Josie, do you want to take us out?
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Nancy. And all of the information for Choice Recovery will be in the description box of the YouTube video.
Okay.
And thank you to our donors and sponsors who make this show possible. To catch our other podcast episodes and our full library of recovery content, be sure to download the Most High Media app. Follow us on socials at Most High Media to stay up to date on our events, screenings, and upcoming podcast episodes. This has been another episode of The Most High Show. Good night, y'all.
Hey, that was great.
You said that with your chest.
I did.